Hey sis, have you ever felt like you're constantly carrying people emotionally? Constantly carrying people emotionally, meaning their stress, their problems, their pain, their emotional instability, and somehow it's like you always feel like you're responsible for helping them to feel better. You feel like you're responsible for helping them feel better, even when it drains you, even when it drains you, even when you're exhausted, even when nobody even notices all the stuff you're doing or trying to do for them, even when they don't notice how much emotional weight you've been carrying because they're not looking at that. They just, receiving the benefits. If that's you, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. My name's Melinda. I'm a registered nurse, life coach, and mentor. And on our channel, we focus on faith, healing, and emotional wellness. At any time, if this message touches you, resonates with you, give me a thumbs up for confirmation. And thank you so much. This resonates with me. And if you are liking the vibe, then go ahead and subscribe. I'm a newer channel, so I'm trying to grow the channel. Okay. And as always, I'm always going to wish you peace, love, joy, and happiness. All right, let's get into it. Because the thing is that like a lot of empathetic people, which are people who like care deeply, they care about other people, they're always wanting to help everybody, always want the best for everybody, go around trying to make sure everybody's comfortable, they don't want anything out of the ordinary because they really care for these people, or you care in general for people a lot. Okay, so empathetic people, the thing is that they don't just care deeply, they over carry emotionally. And so, and I'm empathetic too. I'm very empathetic, very, honest, very, loving, want everything to be all right. So we are empathetic, okay? But empathetic people care deeply, okay? And so the problem is though sometimes eventually that can become overwhelming for the nervous system. Okay. And so let's talk about why though. Why is it overwhelming for the nervous system? Because some people become highly emotionally aware very early in life. So this is why it happens. Some people become highly overly not overly but highly emotionally aware very early in life. They learn stuff like they learn to like read the room, monitor emotions, keep the peace, avoid conflict, or emotionally caretake others. Okay. And so sometimes though, because emotionally they felt like they had to, you may have felt like you had to do all that. So what happens is that over time your nervous system can become highly responsive to other people's states because your body's been trained to do that. So over time what can happen is your nervous system can become highly responsive to other people's emotional states. And so what happens then is eventually what can happen is you could start feeling responsible for emotions that was never yours to even manage. It's not even your burden to carry, but you could feel responsible for it, or you could feel like you're responsible for it. And so I like to give analogies. So let's say like analogy would be like it's like becoming emotionally like emotional sponge, like all this water and everything is dripping and you're this sponge and everything is like you're absorbing all of these people's problems, all of their issues, all of the lack of this or that, or emotionally you want to carry their stress and take it off of them, but then you're putting it on you and you're a sponge, instead of like standing near the emotion, you absorb it. Okay. And so what happens is, it's like after a while, that sponge becomes heavy. Because, when it's wet, it starts like weighing down. So now it becomes heavy, emotionally heavy, mentally heavy, and physically heavy, because you start having physiological effects of all this. Why? Because constantly absorbing emotional energy is exhausting. It's exhausting. And let's talk about what that could look like, okay? It could look like feeling guilty, like for setting boundaries, saying, you know what, I'm not about to run around here like a superwoman. Every man's for himself. You want to eat this, that, or that. I don't have to run and go feel like I gotta do this and gotta do that and go run and clean this, clean that, while everybody else chill. You could start feeling guilty for setting boundaries to have some peace and relaxation for yourself. Also, you could be trying to fix everybody's problems that's not even yours to fix. You could be just trying to fix everybody's problem, being a problem solver, putting all that stress unnecessarily on yourself. Sometimes people have to solve their own problems, because sometimes that's the only way they learn too. You could also be over helping. Meaning, like I just said, everybody else relaxing, you running around like Superwoman, you cleaning this, you cleaning this. Every time somebody drops something down, you washing it, you doing this, you doing that. Then you got to run around and cook. Like right after you get off work, you running around doing this. Then, they got to go do that. So you want to make sure they have this before they go. Oh, they don't have money. Let me help you with this. Or, oh, I need to do this. And it's too much. Like you're taking on too much, over helping. Also, over explaining yourself. Somebody say, hey, can I have this, or can you do this, instead of just saying, no, I can't do that today, or no, I'm not gonna be able to do it this week. You want to explain, well, I have this, and after I do this, I got to do this, and I have to this and this and this. It's gonna be for 4 hours, but then maybe I no, instead of all that, no, I'm not gonna be able to do it today. You could also be people pleasing, trying to make sure everybody's satisfied, make sure they have everything they want, making sure everything is cool, copacetic for them. Meanwhile, your stuff is in disarray because you're doing stuff for everybody else, or you're not working on your purpose because you're trying to help everybody else with theirs, and now yours is suffering. God gave you a gift and you're not able to use your own gift because you helping other people with theirs. People pleasing. Or you could be feeling emotionally responsible for keeping everybody else okay. Like if it's discourse in the house and people just so mad and angry and all this, I have emotional breakdowns and cussing and fussing and all that, you could feel like you're responsible for regulating everything, when really we're not responsible for that. They have to regulate themselves. Okay. And emotionally, what that does, it creates burnout. And sometimes, in addition to burnout, you could start being mad about it, because you could feel like people don't appreciate you and stuff like that, when in reality they're like, you don't have to do that, I didn't ask you to do that. But then you could start feeling guilty, because when you stop doing all that, you're gonna be like, oh, they're mad because I'm not doing that, when in reality, maybe they are, maybe they're not. But the bottom line is, you shouldn't have been doing all that anyway, because you're wearing yourself out. Okay? So the thing is we're not designed to carry everybody's burdens all the time emotionally. It's okay, like you have friends and family that sometimes you're gonna help them out, you're gonna help them through rough times, but you shouldn't always be the sponge for every single person all the time. Okay, so let's talk about like how it affects your body and what's happening inside your body, because y'all know I'm a nurse, and so I always kind of break stuff down and try to make it make sense. Okay, so like your nervous system, what happens is it may stay in like a heightened awareness mode. Okay, or it may be constantly emotionally monitoring everybody for like, are they okay, what are they thinking, are they upset today, are they about to get mad, I don't want no problems, stuff like that. You can also go into caretaking mode, like let me get this for you, let me fix this, are you hungry, how does your back feel? Is that okay? Do you need another one of these? You could just go into that mode. Or chronic emotional alertness, like you oh, you're P's and Q's all the time. And so emotionally you could just feel when people are like down and stuff like that. So you make it feel like every time you need to step in, but sometimes you have to take a step back though, because what I learned is, are they down because of something that they put themselves in, and is it something that they need to learn from that God's trying to show them? Because then if you come in, you trying to do God's work. So that's something I had to learn for myself. Like, stop being a caretaker all the time. Stop being emotionally alert all the time. It's just, this has been really eye-opening studying this for you guys, because it actually helps me too. But yeah, when you're very empathetic, we kind of overdo things, and sometimes people take advantage of it. So that's another thing you have to be careful of, because then you get resentful. But when we shouldn't have been doing all that to begin with. Okay. So the thing is too is that, like, you have all these like you could be feeling all this stuff, like the alertness, emotionally caretaking mode, emotional monitoring, awareness, and stuff like that. And it's especially, you get like that, you can have all this stuff heightened, especially around emotionally unstable people. You really go into feeling like you need to be a caretaker, have chronic alertness, because if they're unstable, you don't know when they're going to snap off or not. So you got to be on alert so you can just keep stuff calm and keep the peace, because what emotionally unstable people, they argumentative, make snap off, just boom, just for whatever reason, just wake up mad and just start complaining about stuff all day. Next thing you know, you want, you hungry, you want this, you want that. No, 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 no. So you just let them, they got to work it out. They got to work through that, okay, so they can get their own healing. Because what happens is, like, over time, next thing you know, your body is carrying all that stress, okay, instead that was never fully released, because it's all the time if you constantly dealing with it. And so your mind may be saying, like, I care about people, I care deeply. Then your nervous system is saying, you know what, it may be just like, oh my God, I learned to survive by emotionally managing others. So you may have learned to survive by emotionally managing other people. And so here's the thing though, and this is important. Empathy is beautiful, because we're caring people, genuine, all of that, love helping people. But empathy without boundaries can be self-abandonment. It can lead to you abandoning yourself, because you're so focused on everybody else and what they need. Now you're abandoning your needs and yourself, and that's not healthy. That's where you got to have those boundaries. And I had to learn that too, the hard way. And so the thing is that you're allowed to care deeply without carrying everybody, without, you know, rescuing people, supporting everybody all the time, and without losing yourself. It's okay to support people and be a support, reciprocal support or whatever, but just to carry them and all their stuff, no. You need to stop, sis or bro. If you're watching this, just stop it. And it's hard to do it first, but once you do it and start, because I have a hard time just sitting back, because I usually like very meticulous, clean up this, do this, cook this. I had to sit back, and literally it was feeling like hard for me at first, but now I'm good with it, because I was wearing myself out. Then I have resentment because I feel like people, don't appreciate me and stuff like that, and or I felt like people take advantage of certain things, and there are some people that do. Don't get me wrong, but you gotta protect your peace at all costs. Because guess what? If I'm running around doing all that stuff, I can't even be in my purpose talking to you. So yeah, you just gotta kind of put some limits and some boundaries on things, and that's when your emotional maturity, it heightens. Um, and then healing often means like learning how to stay compassionate without absorbing everybody's burden around you. You can still be compassionate, but you don't have to absorb all their burdens. Okay, because some people, they have to work stuff out for themselves, because that's the lesson in it all, right? They need to heal, but you can't heal for them. They have to want to heal. Okay, so and that is that distinction. It basically changes everything, the dynamic of stuff, because it'll let you get some peace and all that stuff. And now you're not worried about what this person think, what they can think what they want to think. This is what I'm doing today, and I'm doing this today. I'm doing this today, but I'm not doing this or that. So you got to have some boundaries, okay? And so God never asked you though to become the emotional savior for everybody around you. He told you to save the world. That's his job. He's the savior. We are not saviors. We can help people and support them and all that, but we can't save everybody with all their problems and absorb it like a sponge, because you will be in a perpetual cycle of stress if you do that. Okay, and you'll start having like resentment, because you'll feel like people, you did all this and they don't even appreciate you. Stop doing all that. Okay, and sometimes protecting your peace is part of protecting your health too, because again, physically it affects you. So you can pray for people, you can love people, you can care about people without emotional weight that was never yours to carry in the first place. Okay, so if you've been emotionally overwhelmed, or you've been carrying too much for too many people, just understand this. Like, you're not cold for setting boundaries. You're not cold for setting boundaries. You're human, okay? So, and healing happens like when you stop confusing compassion with emotional self sacrifice. When you stop choosing compassion for emotional self sacrifice, because you're sacrificing yourself to have compassion to somebody else, okay? Because your peace matters too, and you matter. So you need to hire your peace. So I hope this message helped you. If it did, please like and subscribe. As always, I'm wishing you peace, love, joy, and happiness. All right? Bye.